Florida businessman Philip Esforma is facing a possible re-prosecution, all thanks to Joe Biden's Justice Department after he was convicted of charges related to a Medicare fraud scheme. But the sentence was commuted by former President Donald Trump.
Here now, former U.S. Attorney Brett Tolman. He is also the Executive Director of Right on Crime. Brett, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So talk to us about this case. Is this a possible claim for double jeopardy?
Thanks, Sean and Dagan, for having me. I guess I won't get shocked anymore by what DOJ under Biden is doing. But this is so outrageous, and I'm glad you all are highlighting this. We have a lot to talk about in terms of what DOJ refuses to prosecute. But we really should be looking at what they are prosecuting, because it's politicization. It is politics in DOJ. Here, because they hate Trump so much, you have somebody that was prosecuted, was acquitted of certain crimes, was convicted of some, served his sentence, and now DOJ is stepping in and saying, we don't care about what President Trump did. We're going to prosecute this guy again, and we're going to try to sentence him on the counts he's already been sentenced for. That, to me, violates the Constitution, but they're going to make him go forward and fight that instead of acknowledging what every DOJ historically has acknowledged, that they would not try to overturn a president's commutation.
Brett, this is something a lot of people wouldn't know, that when someone is sentenced at the federal level, that they get sentenced on all the charges, even the ones that they are not found guilty of or ones that they are acquitted of. So it's an all-in sentencing. So this man, Philip Esforma, his sentence commuted by President Trump. So the Justice Department, Merrick Garland, Joe Biden are going to go back and take these charges that he was not found guilty of and retry him, even though he was sentenced on these specific charges. In your entire life, your professional career, have you ever heard of this happening?
Dagan, in 25 years in the criminal justice system, I never thought it would ever actually come to this. The Department of Justice, that prides itself on fairness and in the administration of justice, is willing to throw out notions of constitutionality, double jeopardy, or anything else that they think stands in their way to overturn something that they didn't like that Donald Trump did. It's not a respect for the law. It's not being a servant to the law. Instead, it's trying to make law and believing that you're your own fourth branch of the government, so to speak. But in this, I've never seen anything like it. It's shocking. But what's more shocking is what it may mean for many of us that have practiced in criminal law, knowing that the Department of Justice doesn't feel bound by rules.
Well, maybe they're not bound by rules, but hopefully we have good judges who will push back on the Department of Justice. And speaking of the Department of Justice, they seem to have a double standard. The vandals who admitted to defacing a Catholic church, they were offered a plea deal with no jail time. They spray painted, one of the folks who were working at the church, destroyed a statue of the Virgin Mary. And this comes as the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, issued subpoenas to the FBI over their alleged spying on Catholic churches. So, Brett, you have the FBI wanting to spy on Catholic churches, getting informants from the Catholic Church. But when vandals deface the Catholic Church, the DOJ doesn't do a damn thing.
Yeah, and you look at their decisions, they're inconsistent with fairness, and they're inconsistent with making decisions based on the facts and the relevant law. Instead, they're picking and choosing winners, and that's dangerous. And Sean, you're exactly right, because if the Department of Justice will do this and the FBI is willing to sink to great depths, and we are only finding out about it now, what are they doing that we don't know and can't uncover? You were in Congress. You know how difficult Jim Jordan's job is to try to uncover this. And we may take decades before we truly know how low the Department of Justice and the FBI has stooped to target one political faction that they don't like.
And they may not like the Catholic Church, Brett. They also don't like the Congress. And they have professionalized Stonewall in the Congress. And hopefully Jim Jordan and his team can buzz through and get answers. And by the way, the only way you get answers was when you hold their money hostage, unless they give the answers that you want.
That's right.
But you know what is the most grotesque part of it all? They really don't like victims. they really have a disgust for people who are victimized.
Yeah, they do. Hey, Brett, we got to run. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.